Morning. Good morning. Let me hit go live in all the places. How are you this morning? All right, now let me pull this up on my phone and make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. Hold on, let's mute that. I was hearing some me talking in the background somewhere. All right, let me find it. Make sure. Let me find it. Whoops. All right. Oops. Heck. What this? All right. Heck. What this? There we go. Mute that. There. All right. All right. So beautiful. So thank you guys for being here. Make sure that you say hello in the comments so that I know that you're here. And you have to excuse me. I haven't dried my hair or anything this morning. It's like I didn't even realize I hadn't done it till I sat down here in front of you guys. And it's like, wait a minute, something looks weird about my hair, and it's still wet. I got my coffee. And I don't know how it is in where you live, but we're having a little bit of a rain right now. Not too bad, but they're predicting us to have some really heavy stuff. I live in Georgia, for those that don't know. And with this hurricane that's coming through, that's actually going to be affecting us a good bit. Interestingly enough, I mean, I am north of Atlanta, so I'm 4 hours from the coast of Georgia to Savannah, yet it's still going to be pretty significant, supposedly, unless it slows down or whatever it does. But they're predicting some really heavy possible flooding and all these different things. And I know it's different for me than the people that are in Florida. Like we've got several people in this group that live in the Florida area. And so I'm wishing all of them to be safe. I don't know how affected they are with where they live. You know, I've got a great niece that lives in Panama City, and they're supposed to have a lot of issues there too. So if we could just all collectively send everybody that is affected by the storm some blessings and well wishes, so that they get through it easily and without a lot of damage to their property, and especially to their personal property, right? All right, so I just realized I haven't even put my affirmation and journal prompt in the queue here. So give me a second. Let me grab it. All right, and make sure as you get here that you say hello. Let me know that you're here, and that way we can have a conversation. Because I can see I've got some watchers. I'm not going to call you out or anything. But if you could say hello so that I know that you want to have a chat. All right, so today's affirmation is, my path unfolds perfectly as I trust and follow my inner guidance. And, you know, good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Great to see you. And, you know, the thing is, like, I really started this affirmation today with the universe, God is conspiring in my favor, right? And then I switched it and I did all these different things. So this is what I ended up coming up with. My path unfolds perfectly as I trust and follow my inner guidance. Because we a lot of times get so far detached from our inner guidance, because we do things and then maybe our intuition, our inner guidance is saying, that's not a good person, or that's not the time's not right now, all of those things. And we let other people convince us that that's not the truth, that we should go ahead and do the thing, or we should go ahead and trust this person. And so we begin over time, we second guess. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning. How is the weather where you are? I know you're in Miami, but I have no idea about the storm and where it's hitting and all that stuff. So I hope you're okay. But the thing is that most of us at some time, even if it's not now, we have second guessed ourselves and then ended up realizing like, I should have listened to my first inclination about this. I've met people before in my life that in the beginning, I didn't even like them. And over time, it's like being around them and stuff, you just kind of learn to like them. And we're under a tropical storm warning. Oh, okay. So it's not considered a hurricane there when it hits your area. Okay. Nice. That's at least better, I guess. Because they're even saying that when it hits Savannah, it's supposed to be a hurricane level 1 when it hits landfall. So I don't know. Anyway, the thing is that I've met people that it won't hit you. Oh, good, Carrie. Good. Glad to hear it. The thing is that, like I was saying, I have met someone before many years ago. It was actually my first husband, to be perfectly honest with you. And I didn't like him at all when I first met him. I thought he was an asshole, to be perfectly blunt. And he was a musician, and I was only 18 at the time. And for some reason, I kept going to this club with some friends and interacting with them. And over time, it was like we went to dinner, we went to breakfast, because the club closes really late. So you go to the breakfast place, and it was always the IHOP and Cat 3. Okay. Oh, for Tampa. Gotcha. So when I started hanging out with him, and I don't know if I got desensitized to him being an asshole or whatever it was, but he was a lot older than I was. And the thing was, we went out to breakfast this one time, and he said he wanted to date. And I said, no, I think we can just be friends, because I wasn't attracted to him. I still thought he was a little bit of a jerk and didn't want to, right? But we started doing the friend thing, and then before I knew it, we were getting married. And it's like, and it wasn't a great marriage, I'll be honest. And so I should have really listened to that early intuition that said, no, he's a jerk. He's not a nice person, all those things. But I was 18. We got married on my 19th birthday. And the thing that when I go back and I think about it is, I don't know how much of what he was saying helped me to all of a sudden feel like I was wrong in how I felt about him. And so all I'm saying is that we have usually all of us have had a time when we went against our inner guidance and our intuition, and things didn't go as well as we'd anticipated, right? Or as much as we wanted to. So now our affirmation is the opposite. It's that we always trust our intuition, because our path unfolds perfectly because we trust and follow our inner guidance. So put that on your sticky note, your index card, your screensaver on your phone, wherever it is that you can put it, so that you are reminded of this today. Because if we're following and trusting our inner guidance, it's always going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to. Now, does that mean it's always roses and rainbows? No, because like I was talking about the other day, sometimes our our inspirations and the path opens up for us. And sometimes opportunities are disguised as obstacles, right? And so an obstacle is only there to help us to grow or to maybe pivot or move us into a different direction. And so we look at all the things that come up in our life and we trust that it is for our best benefit, right? And when we do that, then we actually have on a different lens of the world and we recognize that it's all working out in our favor. We just need to trust the process, right? So now I'm going to grab the journal prompt. Oh, it's a little too long. Let me do it again. Okay. I'm trying to get better at this. All right, let me take that off. Now let's see if it shows up right. Yes, beautiful. All right. So here is our journal prompt. Reflect on a time when you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome, because we want to be looking at the positive side. And I just gave you an example of how when I didn't listen, things didn't turn out like I wanted, right? So we want to be looking more on how things can go right. So reflect on a time when you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome. And then how did it feel in that moment? Because when we can tie into the feelings that we had when something went amazing and we really breathe into those feelings, more of that is going to be magnetized to us. All the feelings and the aspirations and all the epiphanies, the beautiful things that the universe and God is sending your way because you're feeling this thing, right? Then we're open to it, right? So when you look back about the time that you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome, when you look back at that, can you just kind of see what were the subtle signs or the feelings that were guiding you that let you know that that was your intuition speaking to you? Because sometimes we think, I know for me, there have been times that I wasn't sure, was it my intuition saying don't do this, or was it my fear of something not going the way I wanted? And so we're exercising a muscle here to get in tune with our inner guidance, because if we can stay in tune with our inner guidance, we can have guidance for days, right? Months, years. We can really let our inner voice, our inner guidance send us in the directions that we need. And I don't know if that makes sense. So let me know. I see we got a few more people watching. Make sure that you say hello in the comments. And then when you're looking at this, how can you get greater trust in your intuition moving forward? And so to me, the way that you do that is that you practice little things, little ways of trusting your intuition. And each time you trust your intuition and you move in that direction and it goes well. And remember, sometimes things show up as an obstacle. And so you have to make sure you're discerning. And sometimes it can get confusing because we think, oh my gosh, why did that happen? I was doing all the things, I was feeling the feels, and then it went backwards. But in actuality, sometimes it's not that it's going backwards. It may feel like it in the moment. But if you really trust that God, the universe, is conspiring in your favor, and you're feeling the things that got you where you had the positive outcome, then it's inevitable that it's all going to work out. And so that obstacle that popped into your field of vision, your life, was there to redirect you or to move you with a different pattern, a different thought. And because there's so many times that we misjudge what's going on. And it's like I refer to this often, and it's not. I don't even listen to country music, but I used to listen to it a lot. And there's one song in particular that always comes into my mind as I'm talking about this right here, and it's a Garth Brooks song, and it's about, and I don't even know if this is the title, but it's about thank God for unanswered prayers. And in this song, he's longing for this girlfriend, for this girl to work out in his life. And he wants it so bad. And he's praying, let it all work out. And when it doesn't, he's so disappointed. But then later on, he meets the love of his life. And then he says, thank God for unanswered prayers. And so a lot of times we have this feel that we want things to work out this way. And that's not really in our best interest. And that's when the obstacle comes up to shift us to a different thought, a different pattern. And so just be aware that if you're trusting, then you're going to recognize that whatever shows up is to help you get to the next phase, the next stage of your life. And it's not always easy to do. And I'm not perfect by any means. So sometimes for me, an obstacle will show up and it's like, oh, and then I can go down this little rabbit hole of despair. But the thing that happens now is that I catch myself very quickly as I'm dipping in. I like to say I dip my toe into the despair, but then I immediately recognize that that's not serving me. And there's some kind of golden gift in this adversity. I just need to sort through and find it, right? And so when you can do that very quickly, it all begins to change. And so I invite you to see, reflect on a time when you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome, and really dive into all of the things that come up. So I like to say, before you start your journal prompt, right, that we get out our notebook or our journal and we put the date on there. We put the affirmation and the journal prompt. So let me go back to the affirmation. The affirmation is, my path unfolds perfectly as I trust and follow my inner guidance. My path unfolds perfectly as I trust and follow my inner guidance. Oof, doesn't that feel good, right? To trust and follow your inner guidance. That's the goal. That's who you are if you choose to be, right? And so put this along with the journal prompt in your journal, your notebook, with the date. And then the journal prompt, reflect on a time when you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome. Now, what I like to say is, before you begin, you write it out in your journal or on your notebook, and then you spend some time in total silence. You just focus on your breath. I like to say to 10 minutes or more if you can do it, but just getting into the present moment, breathing, quieting the chatter in your mind. And then when you've done that and you've been thinking about what this is, and you're open to letting your subconscious mind feed you information, then just brain dump everything that comes up. All the times that you feel that you can remember that you followed your intuition and it led to a positive outcome. And if you really want to dive into some of the other stuff, like the example I gave you, you can write about your intuition and when you went against it and didn't listen and things went to hell, right? So you can really spend some time with looking at what's gone on with you and your inner guidance. And once you've did that, you can look at, if you put down some things that went really well and some things that didn't, then when you went against it. So for each one of those, write down, how did you feel in that moment that you made that decision? And then you can look back for both of those. What were the subtle signs or feelings that were guiding you? Why did you decide, if you're writing about when you went against your intuition, why did you decide that? Was it something somebody said? Was it a memory you had? Was it a thought? And spend some time really exploring a little bit of this, because it's going to help you so much with being able to recognize when you're going with your intuition and when you're fighting against it, right? And the more you can exercise that muscle of trusting and flowing with your intuition and your inner guidance, the more you're going to be able to recognize it and do it in the future. Because your inner guidance is so much better than listening to what everybody else is saying, right? And I'm sure if you're part of this group that you are already on that path, you're not falling prey to everything that people say. But we all, at some point, can fall into that place, right? And so if you are, that's all right. Just do the work and let it change, right? Exercise that muscle, the muscle of letting your inner guidance lead you, guide you. And then also recognizing that whatever shows up, if you're doing this work, whatever shows up is for your greater good, whether it feels like it in the moment or not. And while I'm thinking about it too, before I forget, tonight is supposed to be 7 p.m. Eastern. Ruthie is supposed to be here talking about our holistic health and that kind of thing. And I got a message from her that she's under the weather, and so she is not going to be here. But what I am working on doing is finding a mystery guest. So we'll still be here at 7 p.m. Eastern. So just go ahead, and even if you're not sure, go ahead and go into the event section and look and say that you're going to be there. And like I said, I don't know who's going to be there with me chatting, but it's going to be somebody. And I have reached out to a couple of people, and we'll see what happens and who's going to be there. But I don't want to leave you in the lurch at all. So we are going to be doing something. And I'll have an expert in to have a chat with. And so tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, then so go on to the Facebook page, into the event section, and definitely join us live. And let's see, and I just posted the event for Dr. Nancy being in the group, and that is October 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to be really exciting because she's got so many things that we're going to be talking about. All right. So remember, one of the reasons why I lost my train of thought, sorry. One of the reasons that I ask you to put the date and affirmation in the journal prompt in your notebook or in your journal is because we cannot see the difference in us from day to day, because whatever we're doing right this minute, that we're changing and growing, that becomes our new normal. And we do it again tomorrow, that's our new normal. And the next day, it's our new normal. And we can get things happen so incrementally that over time we lose sight of the fact that we changed, or that life changed around us, right? And so by doing this work and putting the date and everything, you can come back and look at it and see what was going on for you and how much growth that you've had in your life from that point. And so there are times that I can go back and look at a journal and I think, oh my gosh, that's the day that I had this epiphany. And then look at all the things that I wrote, and all of those things have happened. Or maybe it's like my whole opinion about things have changed. It's a way to measure. Like when I was losing weight, when I was 75 pounds heavier than I am, I could get on the scale and I could measure if the changes, even though I couldn't physically see it in my body, I could see a pound difference, right? On the scale, but not here. And it's the same with our minds. We can see a difference when we've had a big difference, maybe. But if you can look back at the journal and see, oh, there was a pound, there was another pound, there was another pound, right? And so I want you to have the opportunity to see your growth, because we want to make sure we're celebrating all the nuances that happen within us as they occur, even though sometimes we don't even notice it. So, hell, just every single day, celebrate. Say, I am so grateful that my life is getting better and better every day. So, just be grateful for all the things that are happening around you, right? All right. So, I will see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern in the group. And then I will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern with our affirmation and journal prompt once again. And for those that are here, thank you for being here. And if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And if you're actually watching, oh, I need to look over here. If you're actually watching in one of the other places and you're not part of the Stand Up and Stand Out community, it's so easy to become a member. Just go to vickypoole.com, VICKIEPOOLE.com, and ask to become a member. And when you do, you'll be prompted to answer some questions, and make sure you answer the questions, because that's the way you get entry into the group and you get admitted, and you get to, because a lot of the stuff is happening in the group and not everywhere else. Right now I'm streaming out in several different places. So if you would like to be part of this amazing group, and we just hit yesterday, we hit 400 members in the group. So I really want to celebrate that. And there's a lot of new people. And so I'm super excited that the group is growing and expanding, and we're getting so many more like-minded people with a similar goal of standing up and standing out in life, right? All right. So I will see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, today, spend a day in reflection and enjoy your day. Mwah.